Hi, and welcome to the show, where we bring you all the latest developments and new technologies in supply chain management. I'm your host, George Levy.
And I'm Matthew Mercadou.
In this show, we'll be covering all the latest developments and the new technologies in supply chain management, and as we progress, you're going to be seeing a lot of new developments. Matthew, there's a lot of stuff we're going to be covering in this show. Can you tell us more about what we can expect to see?
Yes, absolutely. So we are here to bring awareness on what's happening in South Florida in the trade and logistics sector. It's a revolution really happening with the convergence of all the technologies in the field. We can build great solutions for supply chain management. So we are here on this show to propose you and to show you what can be done in the field.
I agree. I think first and foremost, we're at the Blockchain Center in downtown Miami.
Yes.
Miami has been very active in the blockchain space. There's a lot of developments going on. Even the mayor of Miami is involved. And you're actually the executive director of the Florida Blockchain Foundation, which has been very active in this space.
Yes, right. So we've been organizing for 1 year now the condition for adoption of the blockchain technology and an education process through workshops with all the stakeholders. So we have universities, government agencies, port and airport, and companies, local companies and tech companies that collaborate and that explore a different solution using Internet of Things, distributed ledger, artificial intelligence, and all kinds of other solutions that can be helpful in the supply chain.
Yeah, one of the things I find most fascinating about the educational initiatives you're talking about, I've participated in several of your workshops previously. In fact, just to put in context, some of these workshops have taken place at key hubs like the Miami International Airport, Port Miami, and the involvement of technologies such as blockchain and others, such as artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, has really taken grab here in Miami.
Yes, so that's why we're here. We are here to bring awareness to the fact that there is the condition of an industrial revolution are here in Florida. We have at the same time the convergence of an industrial revolution on the transport side with autonomous vehicle, on the energy side with renewable energy, and on the communication networks with the blockchain networks or distributed networks. So the convergence of these three factors mean that we have all the conditions for an industrial revolution in the supply chain logistic industry in South Florida. So we want people to be aware of it and to participate.
Yeah, one of the things I'm most excited about this show is having the opportunity to talk to many of those people that are making those things happen. I think personally, one of the most valuable parts of being in the workshop, especially when I was at the Miami International Airport, was working directly with the technology team for the Miami International Airport and how they're visionaries looking at blockchain being applied into the whole space. So tell me more about that.
Right. So the idea that we bring is we want interoperability by design. So we want to be able to build a platform that will connect port and airport seamlessly in such way that when a merchandise arrives by boat and has to go in parcels by air or by train or by truck, this merchandise has been identified once by the platform and you don't have to repeat over and over again. And you can do that with the creation of digital assets that are unique on the blockchain space, and you can now monitor these digital assets throughout their journey on a destination from point A to point B. We have today the technology to track, trace anything that happened during that shipment. And that in itself becomes a new world of possibility, because now you can plug in trade finance instruments in a decentralized world that will allow financial institution or even people to finance a specific shipment and give access to finance to small and medium-sized companies, producer in South America, for example, that don't normally have access to this kind of credit. Insurance company can also mitigate their risk because now they know exactly the condition of the journey.
At every step of the path.
At every step of the path. So you can lower your cost of insurance, you can give access to credit, the customer knows exactly the provenance and what has happened to the product is consuming, whether it's an electronic product or food or perishable or medicine.
Yeah. One of the things that I find really interesting about the vision of this show is the fact that supply chain 2.0. And when I actually got very involved in the whole concept of developing supply chain 2.0 and you started having all the workshops going, is the fact of realizing how antiquated and like old school a lot of supply chains are. A lot of stuffs they're done in paper, they're still being done in like really manual, repeated steps every way.
Yes, for a lot of companies, for the main ones, for the big companies, now they're all in the cloud. They're all using what we call tier one systems, warehouse operation system, management system, or terminal management system. But the smaller companies,
sure.
Yes, they are kind of stuck in the 80s, and then they work on a personal relationship with their service providers. They need to come to the realization that they can expand their reach by connecting to this platform and offer more services by being connected.
Yeah.
Simply with other piece of the supply chain.
Yeah. And I think that's the big opportunity there, because the truth is, like, when you think about something as simple as produce, right? And not to knock produce, all of us, we consume lettuce, we consume avocados, we have oranges, but the truth is, the average farmer has been doing this for a very long time, sometimes many generations, and it's just the way they've done business. Now all of a sudden there's all these new technologies, there's blockchain, there's different like oracles tracking the shipments. And this is a different transformation for all these businesses. It's incredible to see this whole transformation of supply chain 2.0.
Yeah, and sometimes we speak about farmers like they are very far ahead in terms of technology adoption, which is not true. Like most of the time, the farmers use technology tools. They can use a tablet, they can use a phone, just to enter the information and collect the data. So I think it's really a matter of education and letting people know what's happening in the field, how to do it, how to connect to other network, and how to integrate a technology or other platform for their services.
And the key question I want to point out is that this is not a knock on the way things have been done. Supply chain management has been around for a long time. It's worked. The world is moving a lot faster, and we're global now, and there's a lot of different participants coming in from all over the world. Yes. And the question is, unless you're able to move at the speed of computers, and money moves that way, and products move that way, you're simply going to be left behind.
Yes, and what we propose to build is a platform that allows for perpetual change. We are an environment where things are changing on a daily basis. Look at the tariffs that are going to be, today is China, tomorrow it's India. People need to be agile and very nimble when it comes to supply chain management. And the only way to do that is by using technology and the platforms and the AI and the machine learning and all that will automate things. And simply we need to sort of retool ourselves, try to understand the possibilities, and now we become more analysts of what's happening and trying to prevent things and do better management, creating efficiencies. So it's really a matter of reorganizing ourselves.
Yeah, and one thing that I would say that's going to make this show, and I'm very glad that you're actually joining us to watch this. The show is taped and it's taken from Miami. We're at the Blockchain Center in Miami, but Miami happens to be also the hub to all of Latin America. There's a massive amount of cargo that passes through here and shipment of passengers. Yeah. This is really a hub. Yeah. And this is very important because we're actually going to be speaking with the people who actually make all of this happen.
Yes, we move already $153 billion of merchandise in and out of Miami every year. The Port of Miami has done a $1 billion infrastructure plan. The airport is going through a $5 billion restructuring plan. The train is now coming from Orlando and arriving directly downtown, in a couple of years. How are we gonna deal with that surge in traffic? We are already saturated. Let's say things as they are. The saturation in traffic is horrendous.
It's a very, very difficult
challenge. It's already very difficult. So how are we going to deal with that surge? If we don't adapt our digital infrastructure, and if we don't give the condition for things to move faster and more seamlessly throughout the city, it's going to be practically impossible to move that amount of passenger, that amount of cargo. So it's really a need, and it's an opportunity, because we can create an industry, change the narrative about Miami, and become a leader really in the science of logistics, and develop an industry from the ground up.
And I'm very glad to hear that. And as an audience member, we want to hear from you. So as you watch these shows, any comments, any suggestions, anything that you want to see, leave it as a comment and contact us, as we'd love to share this with you.
Yes, we will be having on the show all the companies that form the ecosystem here. We'll be talking to companies like Dexfreight. They have a fantastic platform. It's a marketplace for carriers. So they connect shippers and carriers. They do the onboarding process all digitally, pretty much like we used to have a travel agency, right, for daily travel. So now you go on Expedia or you go on a website and they do all the search for you. They connect you with carriers.
Sure. Well, we all have mobile devices now.
So the same is happening in the shipping industry. The same is happening with the carrier. So what Dexfreight has built is a very interesting tool to connect carrier shippers and to create smart contracts to pay the carriers when the delivery is done. They're paid on the spot. And also they can build a lot of application on top of their platform. So we'll be having Dexfreight, Console Freight is another very interesting company, Morpheus, Suku, a lot of companies
which are
already developing solution, and we will be hosting them on the show.
Mathieu, it's been a pleasure speaking with you. I really look forward to seeing you in our next show.
Thank you for watching and stay connected.